Hello guys, this is part 109 of ASP.NET video series. In this video we will discuss about loading user controls dynamically. Generally, we drag and drop user control on the web form at design time. However, there could be several reasons in reality for loading user controls dynamically. For example, depending on the logged in user preferences like age, gender, location, etc. We may want to load different user controls, and along the same line, based on admin and non-admin users or the role they belong to, we may want to load different user controls. Let's see how to do that. So within this web application project, we have this calendar user control. We have this calendar user controls that we have been working within the previous sessions of this video series. If you have not watched them, I strongly encourage you to do so before continuing with this session. So let's see how to load this user control dynamically. Let's see how to load this user control dynamically. There is a method called load control method, which we can make use of. And if you look at what this method expects, means load control and if you look at what it expects, it expects the path of the control. It expects the path of the control that we want to load. We want to load this calendar user control. We want to load this calendar user control, which is present in this user control folder. So let me copy the name of the control, and then the calendar user control is present in the user control folder. Let me copy this. What is going on? Let me copy this. Again, I want to copy this. So how to copy it? Just like that. And then the calendar user control is present in the user controls folder, which is present in the root directory. So I use the tilde symbol. So I use the tilde symbol to indicate the root directory of the web application project, and within that we have this user control folder, and within that we have this user control folder. As you can see it here, user control folders. And within that we have this calendar user control .axcx, and within that we have this calendar user control .axcx. That is what I want to load. And then look at the return type of this load control, and look at the return type of this load control. It is actually returning a control back. And that makes sense because this load control method can be used to load any type of controls. Okay, so now once we get the control back, once this method loads the control, what we want to do, we want to add that to this page, and to do that I am going to use this page dot controls. Page dot control page dot controls collection property. Page dot control collection property. To the controls, now to the control, add, and what do we want? Look at this, it expect and what do we want? Look at it. Look at it. It expects a control. It expects a control. And this method is returning a control back, and this method returning a control back, and this method returning a control back. So it gets added now. Okay, now if I run this application as it stands right now, it is going to throw a runtime error. It is going to throw a runtime exceptions, and we will see how to solve that runtime exception in just a bit. Look at this. It says, means I run this, save the changes. There will done some error. No. What error is it is talking about? Okay. There should be a second parenthesis. Okay. Now save these changes and run it. Look at that. It throws an exception, runtime exception. Look at this it says control. It says control txt date of type text box must be placed inside a form tag with run at equal server. Now look at what is happening. What is basically happening is, if you look at this, if you look at this calendar user control, it has a text box. It has a text box, as you can see here. Inside that, which is an inside that control, it has a text box inside that, which is an ASP.NET server control, server control, and its ID is txt date, So it is trying to add this. Calendar user control, and within that calendar user control, the first control is text box. And look at that. This control of type text box must be placed inside a form tag with run at is equal to server. What does that mean? So when this control is now when this control is now being added to this web form, so when this control is now being added to this web form, okay, so this web form 4.aspx, now any ASPX.NET server side control that must be placed inside this form tag, which has got this attribute, run at is equal to server. Now for some reason, what happens is, when this page control dot add, page controls dot add method is used, it tries to add the controls, control to the web form, outside of this form tag. And that is the reason why we get this runtime error. Okay, and to solve that we can use either a panel control or a placeholder control that we have. Now it is also helpful to use these controls because in reality on this web form, you might have other things like maybe you are asking the person, maybe you are asking the person to enter their name, age, gender, etc., and then maybe you are selecting their date of birth. So you will have other fields here, and after that you want this calendar user control to select their date of birth. So if you want to specify okay, and this specific location, at this specific location I want to load this user control. In this specific location I want to load this user control dynamically. Then you use a placeholder control there, and then to the placeholder control you add that user control. Okay, so it is going to solve the runtime exception that we have just got, and it is also going to tell us where exactly we want the user control to be added. Okay, so let me drag and drop the placeholder control. Where is the placeholder control? I think it is here. We have drag and drop placeholder control from the toolbox. That is the placeholder. We have done that, and all I want to do here, right now is, instead of saying page dot control, instead of saying page dot controls dot add, I'm going to say placeholder 1. That is the ID of the placeholder control. So to that, add this user control. So what we need to do, just type the ID of placeholder, which is placeholder 1. So that is the ID of placeholder control. So to that, add this. So to that, add this user control. Here it is, user controls. Okay, so now let me go ahead and run this and look at that is going to, what is going to happen. It will add the control to the web form. So let me save the changes first, and then control F5. Look at that, I have the user control. This is the user control loaded dynamically. So all you need to do is one line code. So all you need to do, one line code. To add the user control dynamically. And look at this, I am able to select the date. Look at this, I am able to select the date. Okay, everything is fine. Now let me turn tracing onto this web form because if you notice we have not assigned an ID to that user control. Okay, when we drag and drop, we have not assigned an ID to that user control, okay, when we drag and drop it, when we drag and drop it at design time on the web form, we get an ID for that user control, calendar user control 1 or something like that. But then since we are generating this control dynamically, let's see what is the ID that is automatically generated. For that, so what is I am going to do is I am going to turn tracing on so that we can see the control tree. So I am going to set tracing is equal to true. So where we need to go to the source, and here is the tracing. Let set it to true. Set it to true. Now let's go ahead and run this page, and then web form loads up. We should see the entire control tree collection. So let me first save the changes. Now run this. We should see the entire control tree collection, and we should see our user control there. Look at that inside, this is web form here. So this is web form 1, and inside web form we have a placeholder 1 control, and within placeholder 1 control, look at the ID that is coming. It is saying CTL02. That is the ID which is given to my web control calendar user control, Here it is. And let's say it does not make any sense. To me. I want to assign my own ID. Can I do that? Absolutely, we can do that as well. So let me go ahead and change, before I add this control, I'm going to take that. So let me copy this. So I'm going to take that, and then maybe we can create a control. And then we can create a control object reference, or because we are expecting a calendar control, I'm going to specify variable of type calendar user control. So I need to do what? I need to copy this whole line. So we can create a control object reference, or because we are expecting a calendar user control, I'm going to specify variable of type calendar user control. Calendar calendar user control variable calendar user control so I am going to call this calendar user control CUC. This is the CUC, calendar user control, is equal to load the control, but then here we get type conversion error. So I am going to typecast that to calendar user control. Typecast it to calendar user control. Because we are loading this user control, because we are loading this calendar user control, we know that it is a calendar user control. So I am going adding typecasting. So I am doing the typecasting, and then what will we do? We will assign an ID for this object. Assign an ID for this object. Assign an ID. We will assign an ID for this object. So calendar user control dot ID is equal to let's call this calendar user control 1. Let's call this calendar user control 1. For example. Okay, now I want to add this calendar user control. So add this calendar user control. And I want to add this calendar user control to this placeholder. Now let's go ahead, run this and see the tracing, and it should and see the tracing, and it should have given the ID that we have assigned. Okay, so save the changes, run it. So it should and it should have given the ID that we have assigned. Look at here, CU1. So the meaningful ID CU1. Okay, now let's do one thing. Let's say I want to retrieve the value and print that, or maybe on the click of a button, whatever date that you have selected within that calendar user control, Okay, so let's first go ahead, drag and drop a button control onto the web form. So I have an HTML break there. So go to the web form. I have a break there, HTML break. I have a HTML break there. And let me drag and drop a button control onto web form. A button control onto web form. Where is the button? Button is here. Button control onto the web form, and whenever I click this button, button control, what do I want to do? Whenever the user selects a date from the calendar user control, I want to retrieve that date from the calendar user control. Save the changes and run it again. So look, here is the button. Now when I select the date, and click this button and click this button, I want to, and this click button and click this button, I want to retrieve that value. And print that on the web form. In reality, maybe we will retrieve that and then send it back to the database, maybe to a stored procedure to save it in the database. Then let me first turn this tracing off because it is little annoying there. So let me set that to false. So let me set that to false. Let me set to false. And now we want to do that. And now what we want to do? And now we want to do that. We want to retrieve the value that we want to retrieve the value from that from that calendar user control. Now if we had this calendar user control on the web form, now if we had this calendar user control on the web form at design time, it is very pretty easy. All you do is it will have an ID. All you do is it will have an ID, maybe calendar user control 1 dot selected date property. Selected date property is going to return us the selected date within the user control. But then now at the design time on this form, web form, we don't have that calendar user control. We don't have that calendar user control on this web form. That is going to be generated at runtime in the page load. That is going to be generated at runtime in the page load event. Okay, so I want to programmatically retrieve the value from that calendar user control. So how do I do that? Now if you look at this on this web form, I have this placeholder. I have this placeholder control, and to the placeholder control we are actually adding this calendar user control. We are actually adding this calendar user control. Okay. So within the placeholder control, whose ID is placeholder 1 or placeholder 1, find a control so placeholder 1. So within the placeholder control, whose ID is placeholder 1 or placeholder 1, find a control. Find a control. And what is the ID that we are expecting? What is the ID that we are expecting? CU1. CU1. So find a control with ID CU1. Okay. And look at this find control method. Look at this find control method. Again, this method is going to return a control. Return a control back. But what are we expecting back? We are expecting a calendar user control back. So I am going to typecast that to be of type calendar user control. U1 dot typecast it. So I'm going to typecast that to be type calendar user control. So calendar user control. And then all we need to do is, we know that calendar user control has got selected date property. We want to retrieve that selected date property, which is of type string. Selected date property, which is of type string. And print that on the web form. So response.write and print that on the web form. So response.write whatever date we are retrieving out of the calendar. I mean that the user has selected, we are retrieving that and printing it. Okay, so let me go ahead and run this, and we should be able to select the date, print it on the web form. Okay, let me save the changes and run it. So, and we should be able to select the date, print it on the web form. So click the image button first and select the date. I'm selecting date. Now click the button. And we click the button. So I have this 15th of August. 15th of August. Selected. And click that button, look at that. And click that button, look at that, and look at this. You know the control is retaining the value. You know the control is retaining its value. Button control is retaining its value. On post back as well. I click the button, I am able to retain the value. I click the button, I retain the value on post back as well, because this is dynamically loaded control. And that too, I am loading that within the page load event, and that too I am loading that within the page load event. Okay. Now most of the internet article. Now most of the internet articles states that for the dynamically created controls to maintain their view state across post back, The control should be loaded in page initialization event of the web form. But however, we have just seen that we have loaded this user control. We have loaded this user control, calendar user control dynamically in the page load, but I am still able to retain its state across postback. Okay, I am still able to retain its state across postbacks, and you have just seen that this is the I am still able to retain its state across postback, and you have just seen that. Look at that. I have selected that value. I click and it's still retaining its value. Look at that. I selected this value and still it retained its value. Okay, now we know that this user control also supports events. If you also want to wire up programmatically the events of this control, you can do as well before actually adding the control. Okay, so if you remember from the previous session of this video series, this user control supports date selected event. This user control supported date selected event. So dot CUC. So let's say I want to fire up associated an event handler. This event date selected event. How do we do that? We use plus equal. We use plus equal. So the event handler name was date selected event handler, and the event was CUC date selected. And now we need to generate its event handler method. So how do we generate the event handler method? Just go here and generate the method. Here double click it. So we get the event handler method. So we need to make it protected instead of private. And let's say Whenever a date is selected, I want to print that date out. So response dot write. So response dot write. So response dot write. So we have that e dot selected date. E dot selected date. And we want to convert that to a short date string. And we want to convert that to a short date string. We want to convert that to a short date string. I am able to do that there. Okay, and similarly, if I want to wire up maybe calendar visibility change event again, that is a custom event. Calendar visibility change event, again, that is a custom event that we have created in the previous session. How do we do that? Cu dot, what is the name of the event? Calendar visibility changed. Cuc dot, what is the name of the event? Calendar visibility changed. That is here. Plus equal, and we need to create the instance of event handler. So keyword, and what was the event handler? Calendar event handler delegate, we can say that. Calendar visibility event handler, that is the delegate, and the event is calendar visibility changed. And now we have to create the event handler method. And how to create the event handler method? Generate method for that. So here we got the event handler method, make it protected. Okay. So that is the another event handler method. And let's go ahead and hook that up as well. So protected, we have made it protected. Okay, so I want to print a message here saying response dot write. I want to print a message here saying response dot write. Calendar visible. calendar visible equal to calendar visible equal to, if it is visible, maybe it prints true, otherwise it will print false. Okay, so we have the event also associated with this calendar user control. Convert it to string. Okay, so we have the events also associated with this calendar user control. So let's go ahead and run this and look. As soon as I change the visibility of the calendar, means save the changes, run it. Look, as soon as I change the visibility of the calendar, you see that visibility is true. So first of all, I need to select the date. So visibility was true, and now after selecting the date, the calendar visible is equal to false because calendar is disappeared now. Again, click image button, the visibility is false. As soon as I selected the date 15, I select the date 15 is also printed. And if you want this output, in separate line properly formatted, just append an HTML break. But in reality, what we will actually do, we will actually retrieve those values and send it to a stored procedure, maybe to save it into database or to a printer to print them. Okay, so now again run this, but before you need to put breakpoints at a required places. Once it will be here. Another one is be here. Okay, so now run this, save the changes. Now run this, click the image button, calendar visible is equal to true. Now select the date. I select the date 17. Look at that, calendar visible is equal to false and date in the formatted form. So in this sessions we have seen how to load. In this session we have seen how to load dynamically the user control. and how to preserve their state. I mean, the state is also preserved across postback. Okay. In the next video session, we will discuss about loading the standard ASP.NET control dynamically. In fact, we will discuss about adding these controls in a postback event. Maybe we will discuss about a simple real-time example, because a lot of people has asked, if I add control dynamically on the click of a button, then how do I retain its state and how do I make it properly visible upon a post back? We are going to discuss about that in a next video session. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.